Okay, my dear Greg Saunders.
Gregory.
Eagle looking great. Your go.
And we're rolling, Gregory.
Greg Saunders.
Wow. Hey, great.
Show us the skills that have made you a media darling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, 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 welcome to the Saturday Morning Stateline Show. Here we are. It's almost here. The last day of 2023 is tomorrow. And on your digital calendar, it will read 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Are you ready to waltz, Tom?
I can't dance.
You can. Well, you try to fake it a little bit. Just bring out your old.
I can waltz around a subject.
There you go. There you go.
I can waltz my way out of a room.
I'm Greg. It's your Saturday morning Stateline show, the final Saturday morning Stateline show on this 30th day of December, the year 2023, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind.
Congratulations. You made it, and look at us celebrating here with a Packer mug and a hat that lights up, and it's really special. Real special.
And Barry the Packer.
This
is Joe Barry, and he's soon to be gone. My little Packer football.
There you go. That's a sharp looking
football. It's all got all the Super Bowl wins and everything. Yeah, it is a sharp looking football for $3 at the Goodwill.
Nice.
Listen, I'm gonna throw you a pass. Can you catch it?
Let's see. If you throw me a pass, ready? It goes like this. It goes, ready, go. Oh, how did it turn into a baseball? That was.
I threw it so hard it actually turned into a baseball. Throw it back, maybe it turns into a diamond.
There we go. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well.
We have a year in review show for you today, and if you missed the announcement last week, this is not the final podcast. It is the final Saturday morning Stateline show after 10 plus years of doing the show titled Saturday Morning Stateline Show. We're changing the name starting next week. It'll be the INCROWD815 podcast, and we're excited to bring this right here. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that pretty? There's our new INCROWD815 podcast logo. Make it official after today's show. But we've done 194 shows after this one's all done. Called this. Well, actually, take that back. We've done 531 shows called Saturday Morning Stateline Show, Tom.
I go back to 2007 with this. So, I've done almost 1,000.
You've done almost 1,000 shows Saturday mornings. And you can yourself in that time can probably count on one, maybe two hands, how many shows you've actually missed on a Saturday morning over those 13, 16.
Not even 5.
Really? Wow.
Well, okay. More than that, only because there have been a couple of shows that I couldn't get on with here. Never at the station. Never once.
Not by choice. You've been available in nearly every single show for 16 years, and here we go into 2024 next week. It's become cliche to say, I can't believe it's already the next year, but there's a lot of truth. It's hard to believe 2024 is starting in a couple days. Are we ready for that?
Define ready. I mean, you have to be ready. That's like, school starts tomorrow. Am I ready? Well, you better be.
Yeah. It's here whether you like it or not.
I've given up with it. To me, it's just another day. The ball drop, don't care. The all the pomp and circumstance going out on New Year's, don't care. Have not done it for a long, long time. I just simply don't care.
No, one of my pet peeves a little bit is people who always say, I can't wait for something to happen. Well, you have to wait. The thing isn't scheduled to happen until next week. So you have to wait. So maybe say you're looking forward to it instead of that you can't wait for it. Does that sound too goofy? I don't know.
Because you actually can wait.
You can wait because you'll have to wait. Hey, we do have a big news this week.
But like Paul McCartney says, it's just another day. It's just another day.
Yeah. We do have a big number of the week this week. We're going to keep this going. Tom and Joanne currently locked in, tied up at 6 apiece in our current race to 10. And the big number of the week this week is 91 million. Boy, that's hard to read in cursive. That's just really wild looking to read.
91 million.
91 million. The answer is Casa Bonita or crashes. Casa Bonita or crashes.
Huh?
What is your guess?
Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita.
That just sounds.
Put that in the
It
chat.
just sounds too weird to be true. I don't know.
Both of those have stories attached to them with big numbers, but which one is the big number of the week this week? We'll find out. I'm not sure. Can I change the design mid-show?
Sure, doesn't bother me. I sent you mine, by the way.
I think I'm just going to go back to the rounded look because I can't read it. There we go. That's easier to read this way. All right, so we have in store for you today.
That was it for my Krispy Kreme crawlers. No more.
Oh, those are good. Those are so good.
I'll send you one. Here.
I wish. Oh no, it turned into a baseball. I don't have a fancy graphic.
I don't know how that happens.
I don't think I have a fancy graphic for our year in review. I got this big typeface Saturday logo thing to throw up.
I do like that.
That's kind of cool.
I think you should keep that one, definitely.
We'll keep that and keep that one around. But this is going to go away. We're not going to say this anymore because it's not going to be called Saturday Morning Stateline Show anymore after this week. And then, of course, there's
Cartoon Greg looks like you've been begging for change on State and Perryville.
There you go. So this last year, by the way, I guess before we get into the year in review, the history of I was looking at the history of the shows that I've done since I've got into radio, and this is kind of maybe this is self-serving. I don't know if anyone else is going to find this interesting at all. Because when I started in radio in 1990, I was just doing weekends. I was just kind of a facilitator. I was only on the air a little bit here and there, not much. But then the overnight show opened up at WQFL, and I was like, I want it. I want to be full-time broadcasting. I want to be full-time radio. And they gave me the overnight show. So in 1991, I started doing overnights, which basically was 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. every night.
Wow.
It was I was on the air a lot. that was my schooling, doing the overnight show, which those shows hardly exist at all anymore in broadcasting.
No.
And after doing the show for a few months, it was probably like the end of the spring or early summer of 91. I started calling the overnight show the Light of the City because we used to have this little jingle thing that played, and it was a little like a theme song for WQFL radio. And one of the lyrics in the little jingle song was, "We're the light of the city, 101 FM, WQFL." And I started calling my show the Light of the City. And after doing it for about a week, the program director called on and said, "What are you doing? Your show's not called the Light of the City. It's just you're just the overnight show. It's your 101 FM WQFL. That's all you get to promote." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
And then you look like one of those deflated Santa Clauses on the lawn.
Yeah, I was kind of like this. I wanted to go somewhere with this. I wanted to create a show, and then obviously, being new to radio, I really didn't know what the heck was going on.
Didn't you learn anything from Joe Biden? Plagiarism gets you nowhere.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Because eventually what happened was the night guy quit. And the night guy went back to college. So I got to take over the evening show, which did have two named shows. Do you remember either one of the two named shows on WQFL?
I remember Brian Wright.
Yeah.
But that might have been a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
I remember, of course, Joe Buchanan. I don't think it was Joe. Randy Adams.
No. There was two shows that actually had names on the evenings, on the evening shift.
Oh.
One was Saturdays only. The other one was weeknights at 10 p.m.
Okay. I vaguely remember the weeknights. I don't know about Saturdays only, though.
So Matt Kramer is the guy who I relieved from the evening show. He went back to college, and I was happy to take over the evening show, which was from, what was it, from 6 till 11?
6 to 10, I think. 6 to 11, maybe.
11. And so every weeknight I did a show called 10 at 10. And every night had a different theme, and then Friday nights was a top 10 countdown. So I had a lot of fun with that. That's where I really cut my teeth on doing shows, not just being on the radio and hosting a shift, a show with a focus and a theme and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. And Saturday nights was the Rockin' Night show called Night Shift.
I remember that.
We're on the Night Shift. And so I did that for a couple of years before I ended up going to the afternoon show. Afternoons, we ended up calling that the Afternoon Adventure.
Yep. Oh, I remember that. Absolutely.
Number of years. And within the Afternoon Adventure show, we did another show called QM2, the Q Music Magazine, which was kind of, because 10 at 10 went away, no one wanted to keep doing that on the evening shift. I kind of brought that back to my afternoon show. And so the QM2, Q Music Magazine, basically was the same thing as 10 at 10, only it was done at like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. What time did we start that show? I don't remember. It probably changed a couple of times. But a weekly countdown, themes, stuff like that. Did the Q Morning Zoo for a short amount of time before leaving QFL when I did the morning show. And then I did the Mighty Mighty Morning Show in Rochelle on News Talk 1030 WRHL. And so that brings us to Saturday morning Stateline show that we've been doing now for 10 and a half years. And Happy New Year's to you guys. We're getting comments off of our Facebook page, but our LinkedIn feed, but I don't know who those people are.
Happy New Year's, fellas. Happy New Year's to you as well. You want to hear my radio journey or what?
You're okay. Sum up your radio journey in the last 30 years.
All right. It'll take less than a minute. All right. So I started in 92, late, probably September. Yeah, somewhere around in there. In 92, and I started working for LUV, or as Joe Salvi used to call it, the Love Pump. That's what he called it. I don't ask. I don't know. But anyway, LUV. And I was doing color commentary for with Joe for basketball and football games. We had a lot of fun doing that. And in June of 94, the morning show for ROK came open with Charlie and Suzanne. I applied. Charlie and I hit it off in the interview, and I don't think he had a whole lot of people applying, and I got the job. I did that for a couple of years, and I started working the Pat Cunningham show. I did some noon air stuff on my own. I did the noon show where I would introduce Paul Harvey and John Strandon, Kenny Coster, all of those guys, and then I did basically I was introducing everybody, handling the noon show from noon to 1. And then we had some new management come in, and I was let go in, I want to say, late 96, early 97. Then I hooked on with NTA, and I did that for about a year and did a little bit of on-air stuff, but not much. Then I got out of it for a little while because it just wasn't productive anymore. I needed insurance. I was part-time at NTA. I was full-time at ROK. Came back to it in 2007 after a motorcycle accident just about took my life. I couldn't work physically anymore in terms of I can still do physical stuff now, but for a while there I couldn't. So in 2007, my neighbor, who happens to be Miss Stephanie from the station, she's driving by and we sat and talked in the driveway for a little bit. She said, you should come back to the station. And I thought, really? You think they'd hire me back? Of course they would. They hire everybody back. And so I went back and I was hired and I started doing remotes. And I started doing the Saturday morning shopper show with Stan and Shannon.
Stan the Man Bringle.
Morning shopper show. So that's this iteration right here used to be at the beginning, the Saturday morning shopper show. That lasted 2 years, 2.5 years. And after Stan left, Todd came in probably around 2009. And then 2008, and then in 2013, you came in, right? Is that what it was? 10 years now?
They announced that they were filling up their Saturday show doing their different things. Shannon was, was
Right.
Shannon married at
Oh,
that
but
time?
they had already quit the. She got married while we were doing the show, but they had long since killed the Shopper Show. And it actually, it ended after Stan left. It lasted about 6 more months. Then in 2009, probably early 2009, they just went with the Saturday morning Stateline show with Todd and Shannon, and I was part of that show. And then you came along, and then it became you, me, and Joanne came in every week. And then I was producing the sports show with Dave Schmidt and Matt Nestor. Dave subsequently left, and then Matt and I took it over, and then Matt left, and Alex joined me, and then I was working from 7 to 9 because Alex and I did our show from 7 to 8, and you and I and Joanne did it from 8 to 9. COVID hit, and they said, "Sorry, gotta boot you."
We're still furloughed.
See ya.
They could call us back at any moment. We're still furloughed.
We're still furloughed.
So they say. So
only jobs in America that haven't gone back yet. In mine.
Well, we've got 51 plus 1 today's shows that we did here in the year 2023, and we're going to do a quick little recap of that right now. Joanne's standing by at pause. We're not bringing you on at the moment, Joanna. I just want you to know I see you there, and we'll bring you on here in a little bit. But we're going to try this little sharing screen thing and see how this goes. If we go to that screen right there, look at this. This is such exciting podcasting right now, isn't it? We started the year January 7th, 2023 with the Queen of Kindness, Cindy Rowe. Let's see if this works right here.
Kind of dug in a little deeper to who I am and what makes me excited, and that comes down to kindness. And over the last couple of years, I've kind of done some soul searching, I guess you can say, and realized that it was because of kindness that my business grew and expanded the way it did. I was in corporate America for way too long and decided that it was time to leave. And during that time, my life was a complete disaster. Looked pretty on the outside, but on the inside, it was not pretty. Struggling.
Follow her story again through our link there on our website. We're on YouTube and Spotify. She does awesome speaking events across the country, talking about how kindness can help your business. And she's had a great year in business. She's had a tough year this fall. She actually just lost her husband here a few weeks ago, and it was one of those tragic stories of a quick illness that took him rather quickly. Younger guy too. So, but Cindy Rowe was a great first guest to kick off 2023, our Queen of Kindness. And January 14th, we did a little bit of a tribute to a young man named Ryan Sherman. And then on January 21st, INCROWD was at Exit Realty. We talked to John and John I forget. No, John and Roger. That's what that one was, January 21st. January 28th, Connie Esparza from the Red Cross talked to us about blood drives going on around Northern Illinois. February 4th, it was Lance Miller from Main Streets, the TV show. They were at Woodstock, and amongst the Woodstock Theater, all the other things around Woodstock Square, they were telling us about what Main Streets is doing there. That was a terrible technical show. It did not go well that day. I remember that. we had to make some changes.
I remember he couldn't get audio.
It was so weird. Yeah. So, but
I remember that. Yeah.
We'll try to have Lance back on again probably this year, because Main Streets TV is going all over the Midwest now, not just Northern Illinois and Wisconsin. February 11th, we met Nancy Ramos from Carpenter's Place. So why Carpenter's Place? What's Carpenter's Place, and why did you decide to become a major part of what they do?
Just
they're so compassionate. Being a nonprofit, I just have this, I guess since I was little, somewhere, I think my father instilled in me taking care of people and helping people and whatnot. And so that's always been kind of my passion and whatnot. And so I just have a heart for people that are struggling and homelessness, and they're facing situations that thankfully I haven't had to face, but they deserve love and compassion just like everyone else, and help.
Really enjoyed meeting Nancy, and I'm sure we'll have her back on in 2024 at some point. February 18th, INCROWD was at Security Pro Intel. So we had Juan and John on to talk about that event. February 25th, we learned about Nick's Wish. We're going to have more on them later because we had them back in September. We'll have a video clip from Nick's Wish. March 4th, Harold Cabillo from American Red Cross talked about sound the alarm and the importance of having smoke detectors and CO2 detectors in your house. And then March 11th, we met Nikki Reed, who is new to Rock House Kids. And Nikki, I want to thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really well this morning.
Awesome.
How about you both?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
What is it that your role is now at Rock House Kids, and what does Rock House Kids do for those who don't know?
Sure, absolutely. So my role is, my official title is outreach coordinator, but I do, kind of development coordination as well. So I'm in charge of, making the community familiar with Rock House. I'm in charge of the fundraisers, donations, things like that. So I've been there a few months now, so I'm very excited. And for those of you who don't know, yes, Rock House Kids. So we work with inner city kids. We have evening programs Monday through Thursday, and on Mondays and Wednesdays we have our littles who are usually ages 6, so like first grade through 6th grade. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays we have our teens, 7th through 12th grade, and we provide a hot meal for them. That's what we usually start the night with. It's a safe environment where they're able to just be kids. So once we feed them, then we have games, Bible teaching, singing, dancing. We teach them life skills. So we have CPR, communication, self-awareness, coping mechanisms, things like that. We also take them on field trips throughout the year. So some of them are educational, some of them are recreational, but we just try to get them, excited about learning. And we also provide basic life essentials whenever they're needed. So socks, underwear, hygiene products. And then once the weather starts getting cold, we do provide a winter coat for each child that we serve. And snow boots, shoes, anything like that they need. When school starts, we provide backpacks, school supplies. We do the backpacks actually twice a year, just in case they've lost one. And then we have, see what else. Throughout the year, we do give blankets out once it starts getting cold as well. We do that twice a month, one for the littles and then one for the teens. We do that every month throughout the winter. We kind of start with the thinner blankets when it's fall, and then they get warmer as we get through the winter and it gets colder. And then at the end of each night that we have programmed, the kids also, we give them a bag full of kid-friendly food. So it's food that they don't have to prepare. So it's ready to eat when they open, to hopefully tide them over until they're with us again. So that's.
Love being able to support Rock House Kids and all the awesome stuff they do there. And of course, just a couple of weeks ago, we were at their location for their volunteer gift wrapping. That was kind of cool too to see. March 18th, we had Kara Lamb on talking about Rhonda Tarosian's Healthier You Expo. And then March 25th, it was the INCROWD at Stone Eagle, hosted by WLM Associates, painters. And April 1st, we met Sarah Downs from Hurst Heating and Cooling, talking about Focus House, what Focus House does in Rochelle. And April 8th, Kayleen Grow from Rockford Promise told us all about Rockford Promise.
Correct.
And for the uninitiated, which pretty much includes me and Tom, what is Rockford Promise? Tell us what it is.
Sure. Rockford Promise is a local nonprofit, and we're really trying to tackle educational attainment in our community. We started back in 2006, 2007 out of a community conversation around educational attainment.
Here locally, we only have around 2 out of 10 residents that have a bachelor's degree. And when you look at state or national statistics, that's double. You're looking at more like 4 out of 10 residents that have college degrees. So, that may not sound significant off the cuff, but when you start looking at becoming a city and a community of choice, there's a couple of things that people are looking for and businesses are looking for when they consider where to locate. And, some of those things are having a local, educated, talented workforce ready to go. So that really started us off back in 2006, 2007. How could we create that culture of college attainment here locally?
That was a great conversation with Kayleen. April 15th, we met Laura Eakman from the Music Academy in Rockford. And then April 22nd, we had INCROWD at Duraclean. Joe Bartz always does an amazing job of hosting an INCROWD event. He usually does it once every other year. And Joe and John Berlin came on to tell us about April's event happening at Duraclean in Belvedere. April 29th, we met Zach Tanasi-Lanquill. He runs Mission Driven Impact. If you're a not-for-profit wants to do better at connecting with your donors and potential donors, you need to connect with Zach Tanasi-Lanquill. Look up Mission Driven Impact. I think our number one most viewed show of the year happened on May 6th. That's when we met Aaron Guth, who represents Sam's Sweet Heart. Throw up here. Look at that. Sam's Sweet Heart is the name of a local not-for-profit, and I want to learn all about what they do. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in Aaron Guth. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Guys, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us and telling us all about Sam's Sweet Heart. Before we get into what Sam's Sweet Heart is all about, tell us about you. Where'd you grow up and how'd you become involved with this organization?
Sure. Born and raised Rockfordian. So really been here all my life. Got involved with Sam's Sweet Heart through friends. So this organization was started by my friends Alyssa and Luke Bartell, really in honor of their 2 children who passed away due to complex medical diagnoses. And so really to honor their legacies, this organization was created, and I've been involved with them since their founding, really about 8 years ago.
Okay. So it was fun to meet Aaron on May the 6th. Catch out that whole episode again. We're on the YouTube, on the Spotify, and you'll be able to find that there, Sam's Sweet Heart. May 13th, we had Danielle Angelari on from NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I'm sure we'll have her back on again in 2024. May 20th.
We actually, not to interrupt, but we actually will, because she's got a NAMI fundraiser coming up.
Yes.
So sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'll reach out to her. She wants to come on before February, because that's when their February newsletter comes out.
Yes.
And the event is February 29th.
Let's get her on ASAP. May the 20th, it was another INCROWD event. This time we had it at the Mill Saloon, which used to be Cronies up on North 2nd. It's now the Mill Saloon, all totally redone. MP Heating and Cooling was our host for that INCROWD event in May, and got to check out the wide open space. They took out so many walls at the what used to be Cronies, now the Mill Saloon, and really opened up the space and made it really, really nice. Check that out. May 27th, we learned about Rockford's Cosmo Club and all that they do in the Northern Illinois area. June 30th, it was Nick Povolitis from Founders Commission, which is an exciting new thing happening here in Rockford. And we had Kathy Martin on from the Northern Illinois 100 Women Who Care. Again, another organization worth checking out. If you are a woman who cares, you might want to check out the 100 Women Who Care. At last check, they were in like the 70s. Their goal was to get to 100 women that would meet monthly, and they have a very interesting way of raising funds for not-for-profits on a monthly basis. I want to say, is it $5 or $10 each meeting each woman brings to the meeting? And
I think it's $10.
Yeah, I think it was $10. And then they, at that meeting, like 2 or 3 not-for-profits present and speak, and then they decide who they're giving that money to that month. which is pretty cool. I thought that was awesome. June 10th, we learned about the W Connection, another group that supports women, especially those who are widowed or widowers. I think it was not just for women. I think it was for men too, if I remember right. But those who are widowers and going through that stage in life, there's a support system here in Northern Illinois called the W Connection. And then on June 17th, we met Emily Klonicki from Alignment Rockford. People said, okay, enough is enough. We got to get some solutions here. And they found something happening in Nashville, Tennessee that it seemed to be working. And can you kind of explain what that was all about there, Emily?
Yeah, so you are exactly right. Some local business leaders got together and just basically said, you know what is the rest of the country doing in this situation? How are other communities supporting their school district? How are they helping to work through these issues that we're having here in our community? And they kind of went on a search around the country, looking at different models, looking at different communities. And you're exactly right. They landed in Nashville with Alignment Nashville. It was an organization that was already started there, that was working. It's a collective impact model that's specifically focused around around working with public school districts and bringing the community around issues and gaps that are identified for students. So it has a very specific structure of organization, and then a very specific sort of model for doing our work that works well with a lot of the needs and bureaucracy and things like that with a big school district. And so it's a very successful model that is often it works for institutionalizing big systemic change that needs to happen sometimes with education. So
that was cool to meet Emily and learn all about Alignment Rockford. June 24th, INCROWD was at New Milford Commons down here in the great village of New Milford, and John Berlin was the host for that event back in June. Hey, we're halfway through the year already, Tom. This is going quick. I thought it would be going quick. Are you bored yet?
I'm sorry, what? No, I'm kidding. No, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool because, I'm thinking, wow, Aaron was on in May? Danielle was on in May? Are you kidding me? It seems like 2 months ago.
I know.
That is absolutely crazy.
July 1st was my birthday. We celebrated me. All about me. July 1st was. If you want to learn more about me, just check out the July 1st, 2023 episode of the Saturday Morning Stateline Show. And then July 8th, we met Ernie Fuhr. He's been running Next Rockford for the last year and will be continuing in the foreseeable future. Next Rockford, a great organization here in Rockford that is connected to our government officials and our regional planners and stuff like that. We're meeting with United Way, and I forget what this January event is at a United Way facility. But look up Next Rockford, and the cost to join, the discount, I think today is the last day you can join and get the huge discount to join Next Rockford. It's only like $100. So join for a year and be plugged into what's happening next in Rockford. July 15th, we got to chat with Todd Sneed. He's with the Phantom Regiment. Anyway, we have from the Phantom Regiment, Todd Sneed is the director of programs, and I'm curious exactly what that means, because I'm not exactly sure what director of programs actually means. So I'm sure Todd will be able to fill us in on that. And Todd Sneed, a good morning to you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
You are you in a hotel in Rockford at the current time?
I'm in a hotel in Rockford currently, yes. We had a lot of things going on this weekend. We had a Hall of Fame gala last night, inducted 3 wonderful people into our Hall of Fame, and then we have show of shows today, and we have a fantastic program for middle school kids going on at Boylan. So there's a lot happening, and I needed to be here, so I'm happy to join you all.
Well, I see what you did there. Fantastic. I like it. That's good. That's good.
Let's do that. Let's tell us what director of programs is, and about yourself. How did you find yourself to be involved with the Phantom Regiment?
Sure. So as director of programs, I oversee everything that Phantom Regiment does with our students, anything that involves students either in the drum corps or in our academy program that involves high school students or middle school students, or anything we do outside. So any kind of program that we do that interfaces with the public in terms of student and education, I oversee. I've been at Phantom Regiment this is my second year here with Phantom Regiment. I've had a long kind of varied path over time, and have been involved in the drum corps activity for about 20 years. I started teaching at the Madison Scouts up the road here a little bit in 2003. And then I also taught some time at Glassman, which is a drum corps out of Ohio that's no longer with us, unfortunately. And then I started teaching at Spirit of Atlanta, which is a drum corps based in, obviously, Atlanta, Georgia, and was the executive director down there for a few years. And now I'm here at Phantom, so very, very happy to be here.
Love Phantom Regiment and all that they do, and they've just had some recent auditions for the 2024 season of Drum Corps International Competition. Looking forward to see what Phantom Regiment puts on the field this summer. All right, July 22nd, we talked INCROWD at Midway Village, which means we had Alex Gary on, and John talking about what was happening INCROWD in July, which is the one INCROWD event this last year I had to miss. I was on vacation the week that INCROWD met at the end of July, and July 29th, we attempted and actually pulled off a live show from the Norwegian Jewel in Alaska, which that was kind of cool. I don't know that it was a great content, but I think you and Joanne enjoyed kind of walking around the ship with me that morning.
We did.
It was kind of fun because the time, it's 3 hours difference. So
yeah,
8 a.m. here is
probably the closest I'll ever get to an Alaskan cruise. So it was all right.
It was beautiful. It was thankfully it was not raining that morning, so I got to walk around on deck, but it was very windy, so the sound was not great to walk around deck, but the visuals were great. So check that out from July 29th. The Norwegian Cruise Line's Jewel in Alaska. August 5th, we met Tom Ratcliffe from the Boone County Fair, talked all things Boone County Fair and why that's been such an awesomely successful county fair for a number of years. The organization there is stellar. August 12th, we met April Baiski from the Burpee Museum here in Rockford. And then one of the most interesting guys we met all year long was August 19th. We met Randall Rapier from Cape Cancer Baseball.
Thanks for the lead in there. We get asked all the time what the K stands for. So that's for strikeout. It's a baseball term. So back to that song about the young lady that didn't know anything about baseball. That's how we know if somebody's a baseball fan or not, if they know what the K stands for. So Cape Cancer Baseball, it's a local nonprofit right here in the greater Rockford area. And when we say greater Rockford, we mean anything within 45 miles of Rockford. And the nonprofit has two real missions. The one is to support local families who battle childhood cancer. And when we say battle childhood cancer, we don't mean just they're currently diagnosed and they're in treatment for cancer. But when a child exits, their cancer treatment, they get a ring the bell. That is nowhere near where it ends. The effects of childhood cancer last for years and sometimes a lifetime. And we stay here with those local families and we help support them in any way that they need. And when I say any way, we've yet to have to turn anything down where a family comes and says, hey, we've really got a need and here's what it is. And it might be transportation help. It might be a hotel stay for the rare event when the Ronald McDonald House is full. It might be car repairs as all your treatment happens for childhood cancer outside the community. And it's typically either up in Madison, American Children's Hospital, or it's at Lurie's Children's Hospital in Chicago. So you can imagine if you're the average family and one of your two cars is kind of iffy at best. So, there's car repairs that come up too. And we help with all those little things that are just added stresses that are on top of, just the awful fact that a family's battling childhood cancer. So that's our main mission, is to support those families. But then the other side is what kind of makes it unique and where the baseball tie-in comes in is we have a travel baseball organization. So the organization was started with a 13U travel baseball team back in 2014. And we were trying to, interact with the kids and let them know that there is something beyond baseball. So We're kind of the first ones to break it to them that, MLB may not be in your future. It might be, but it may not be. And, in the small eventuality that you don't make it all the way to the major leagues, there is something more out there for you to do. And that's to reach out to, to your community and make them, be of value to them. So we started doing some classes, kind of asking the kids on the 13U travel team, what are your interests as you get older? And we started getting some interesting statements. One kid wanted to be in digital media, one kid wanted to be an entrepreneur. So we, tried to talk that kid out of it, but couldn't dissuade him. We had another young fellow that wanted to be in marketing. So we, I kind of mentioned this sounds like a startup company. So they asked me what that was, and kind of shared a little bit about the entrepreneur world. And we did one class with them on what is a business. It was a 2-hour class. I thought I would bore them to death, and instead of it boring them to death, they were super excited. And we ended up having at least one class a week during the summertime when they didn't have practices. And at the end of it, they wanted to start something. So we looked and what's a need in the community, and we found out that there was a serious gap in the support for local families who are battling childhood cancer. So we walked the kids through, and it was 4 13-year-old boys and one of the brothers who was 15, and we walked them through how to set up an organization. So they wrote the articles of incorporation, they wrote the bylaws, they wrote the IRS 1023, we got a 503 status, and then they were we let them be involved in actually operating the nonprofit. So that was a real kind of unique thing where the kids on the baseball team, that did not have a cancer, relation to the other side of our nonprofit, were benefiting themselves, not just because, they were learning business concepts, which absolutely has had a major effect because those kids are now exiting college and most of them are really successful. But the other side of it is it let them see that the world is about more than just them. The world's about more than just their sports experience and the next bat that you're going to be able to get. That there are bigger things out there. And what's really been rewarding about the whole thing is watching, the look on a kid's face. We get to see them at the moment when they make the last out and they win a tournament, and you can just see that look on their face that nothing could be better than this. And then I see the exact same look when they walk away from an event where they've interacted with a kid who's going through a serious battle, and they've helped make that kid's a day brighter, and they've helped put a smile on that kid's face. And when I see them walk back to their car from that interaction, it's the same look as when they won a tournament. And it's been kind of fun because now those boys have graduated out. They went off to college, and there's Lucas, and Lucas is in med school right now. The young gentleman in the picture there to the right with the baseball uniform on, it's his birthday today. That's Adrian Rapier. Shout out to Adrian. He's still playing baseball in college. One of the other young men just got a post on LinkedIn that he's accepted his first true professional job, and he's pursuing a business career, and he's heading off into that and doing very well. So it's been fun watching as they've exited the nonprofit and they're off being success. And then we brought on a girls team as the boys were getting close to the end of high school, and it transitioned over to K Cancer softball. And the young lady there speaking in that picture there at the top, she's in college right now, just her second year of college. I believe she's in nursing school. So the girls took over the organization. They went through the business classes. They took the reins of it, and they ran the nonprofit for several years. And now they're off to college, and we have a brand new group that we're really excited about. We've transitioned back to baseball, and we're back to K Cancer baseball. We've got a 13U and a 12U travel team that have started taking their business classes. We had our first event together a couple of weeks ago at Midway Village when we took part in the Roaring 20. And they got to play baseball the old school way with 1920 rules. We had the old uniforms on them. It was a lot of fun.
We could have a podcast, Tom, with just K Cancer baseball every week and have
it sounds like
a new story every week, right? I mean, with the number of kids that have gone through that program and what they've gone on to now, that could be a show every single week. So.
Where are they now?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Loved meeting Randall. And on August 19th, the K Cancer Baseball Show edition. I don't know who shot this over, but thanks to watching over on Facebook. 100 Women Who Care, amazing group of ladies, helps our community. So proud to be a member of the group. Right Point was our most recent financial gift recipient. Thanks for that update. Appreciate that very much. We're not seeing the Facebook user on this one because the comment came from our INCROWD group page on Facebook, and that doesn't allow the name to come through. If you make your comment on our Saturday Morning Stateline Show Facebook page, it'll actually say who's making the comment. That's why we're not seeing that on there. All right, August 26th, we ended month of August, talking INCROWD, TLC Construction. Jan and John were hosting at the end of August, and we got to chat with them about all things TLC Construction in Loves Park. All right, home stretch here, Tom. This is going to fit just fine.
All right.
September 2nd, we met Serene from Tadmore Tailoring. They were doing an event, a runway event at Woman's Space that supported Woman's Space. Nancy Rainwater joined us September 9th. The Walk to End Alzheimer's, which happens every fall here in Northern Illinois. Walk to End ALZ. September 16th, it was Lynn Momberger from Family Counseling Services telling us about what's happening with Dancing with the Rockford Stars. And we met Karen Carlson, the new executive director of Gigi's Playhouse. They have a big gala every fall as well here in Rockford. September 23rd, INCROWD was at Kegel's Harley Davidson. Mosaic of Rockford was the host, but they've had INCROWD events at their offices a couple different times, and it wasn't just a very great place to network. So they wanted to find a place that supported them that then had more space. And Kegel's Harley Davidson was perfect. Had a great September INCROWD event at Kegel's. Thanks to them for hosting. September 30th, this might have been the most emotional show of all of 2023. We met Kelly and Tammy from Nick's Wish. The logo for Nick's Wish, right? So
Here we go.
you founded this thing, Kelly.
All right. Now you're back down to the basement with me.
Let's start with you, Kelly. Who you are, where you're from, and a brief synopsis of why Nick's Wish. Why did this all start?
Well, I'm from Rockford, Illinois, so I was born and raised here. I went to school here. I went to college at Rockford College. Back in the day, it was Rockford College, not Rockford University, but now it's Rockford University. Yeah. And I raised 3 sons. My youngest son was Nick. So Nick, when he was 17 years old, senior in high school, he was diagnosed with a cancer called synovial sarcoma. Synovial sarcoma is, the tumor itself was wrapped around his spine. So it was in a very, very bad place. It took a long time for us to figure out what was going on with it. He could play basketball, he could hike 10 miles, but he couldn't ride in the car and he couldn't sleep at night. And so it took us a while to figure out what was going on. So we turned over every stone trying to figure out why he couldn't, why his back hurt all the time. And then one snowstormy day before Christmas, he had gotten an MRI, and the doctor called and said, "Can you get out of your driveway and bring your son? I'll open the office." When that happens, it's not a good sign. So from that moment on, our cancer journey began. He was diagnosed on Christmas Day with that diagnosis. So from there, you can imagine being 17 years old and getting the news that you have cancer. You're a senior in high school. You have the whole world at your feet. Where are you going to go to school? Graduating and prom was there. Everything coming down the last half of your senior high school years, but instead you are now fighting for your life. The one thing that happened to Nick when he was in the midst of that fight was he received a wish from Make-A-Wish. So have you all heard of Make-A-Wish? It's an amazing organization, just fantastic organization. He had 2 local wish makers, Tim and Jan, and I think to this day, if you ask them what is
what about Nick, they'll tell you there's probably a chapter in Make-A-Wish called Nick's Crazy Wishes, because he kept coming up with wishes that they actually couldn't do. So,
I want to be president for a day.
He didn't come up with that one, but he did want to be on the game show Deal or No Deal, where they open the, no, they can't do that. Then he wanted to be a towel boy for a season for the Chicago Bears, and that was a no-go. And he even asked for a pet monkey. I am here to tell you that Make-A-Wish cannot give away pet monkeys.
Nice try.
But it kept him looking towards the future and really feeling like there was, something to look forward to at the end of this, to keep fighting for and to keep him happy. So I think if you ask Jan and Tim, every time the phone would ring, they're like, oh, what's he going to ask for this time? So we did get our wish, and Nick got his wish. It was to go to Hawaii. So we were able to take some time with our family. They arranged everything. They gave us a stipend of money. He picked out 3 excursions to go on. And we had, for just that period of time, all of those worries about cancer were gone. We were back to a normal family, just thinking about, how scary it was to be ziplining, or if we would catch a fish, not anything about chemos and what would be what kind of effect will this have afterwards, and all of these worries that continue to just plague your mind. And for Nick, even, his prognosis was about 25% survival rate with this cancer. So for him, it was, what if I don't make this? What if I don't survive? So to be 17 years old and to be going through having that in front of you, you can imagine the stress. But the wish was like the Willy Wonka golden ticket for him, and he kept that, and was just, he held on to it. It was hope.
And she went on to tell us about how Make-A-Wish Foundation ends at 18, and Nick had a friend who was out of being able to get a wish, and he made his mom promise that his friend would get his wish, and that's the genesis of Nick's wish, helping those 18 to 24 years old with those diagnoses. And that was just a great time, great show meeting Kelly.
Oh, I agree with you. That tugged at my heartstrings like you wouldn't believe. That was important, because it's something that people need to know.
That was special. That was very special. I'm going to close this out and just recap the rest of the way this way. Joanne, I'm going to bring you on here too as we recap the last few. Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning. Good morning, Joanne.
The last quarter, October 7th, we had Lisa Entrikin on from the Rock River Valley Blood Center talking about blood donations through our awesome Rock River Valley Blood Center locations here in Northern Illinois. October 14th, it was Yash Musabji and his Icon Studios premiere of Prelude to Life. That's got all kinds of awards and was shot mostly right here in Rockford. 90+% of it was shot right here in Rockford, and a couple, Vegas and LA, I think, were the other 2 locations he did. Most of the music videos he made that formed Prelude to Life were shot right here in Rockford. October 21st, we had INCROWD at Flanders Insurance. So we had Owen and John on talking about that. And we met Eric and Sean from the Veterans Drop-In Center here in Rockford. October 28th, it was Lynn Momberger from the Family Counseling Services and the final push for Rockford's Dancing with the Rockford Stars. And we also talked with Mary Cassiope. She runs One Body Collaborative and Bridges to Prosperity here in Rockford. November 4th, Leslie from the Greater Rockford Pantry Coalition was on with us. November 11th, it was Brandon Lubke from the Rockford Ice Hogs talking about what they're doing this season with their nonprofit of the game, Every Home Game. November 18th, Andrew Mahan with the Byron Civic Theater. They had their performances of Nutcracker right before Christmas. And November 25th, Tony Caggiano, the ADA Comply guy, told us about making your websites compliant with the ADA. And finally, December, our INCROWD Mosaic fundraiser happened at Wild Cherries in Belvedere, and Dr. Sally and his wife Elizabeth joined us from Elevated Health Essentials to talk all things Elevated Health Essentials, Mosaic, and the fundraiser that INCROWD did for Mosaic, which raised over $3,000 for Mosaic and their programming. December 9th, we met Pam Reidenbach of NICNE, the Northern Illinois Center for Nonprofit Excellence. December 16th, we were live on location at Rock House Kids, and Joanne got lost in the maze that is the facility, Rock House Kids. That's on video. We got proof.
See, I was smart. I stayed away. I didn't want to get lost.
Last week, our AI slightly edited version of the story of the birth of Christ with Tom and I, and enjoyed doing that very much. And here we are, the final Saturday morning Stateline show before we flip things over.
And I couldn't find my T-shirt this morning.
Oh no, and I didn't even think to put it on. I just got a plain shirt on today. But
now it's going to be an antique.
Collector's items. That's right. If you have a Saturday morning Stateline show logo T-shirt, there are not very many out there. We gave away the winners, our radio show winners, for about a year. We had a partnership with Fresh Horizons Promotions. So there's a bunch of shirts out there. I shouldn't say a bunch. There's not very many. Maybe a couple dozen. That's it. So anyway, there it is. Your year. I hope you enjoyed looking at that, and hopefully that will encourage you to go back to some of those shows and revisit some of those folks that we met. Obviously, a lot of those people we'll be having back on in the next year or two as we transition to INCROWD815 podcast, because I want to catch up with these not-for-profit leaders and continue to be updated on what they're doing, what they need, how we can help them. As we've said many times, Rockford is an incredibly generous community. It's great to be a part of what happens here at Rockford and seeing so many people help each other out. So we're going to keep people updated on that right here on this show. In the new year, do we have a pause pet of the week that we want to focus on this last?
Yeah, I was focusing on my foster dog, who is now available for adoption. So I will send you a picture.
All right. Tell us about your foster dog.
Yeah. My foster dog's name is Jane, and she's recovering from heartworm treatment, and she's available now for adoption.
Little Jane.
She isn't very little. She's
not very little.
No. She's Corgi Jack Russell mix.
So check out pausehs.org. All the info should be on there, right? No.
Oh, here she is with her Christmas pictures.
Oh, there we go.
She's 2 years old and ready for adoption now. So she still has some cage rest she has to do, but she's through the worst of her treatment.
Nice. All right. December has been a busy month at Pause. I know you guys have had a lot of adoptions, a lot of cat adoptions this month.
Yeah, I thought someone just did the count. I thought they said 37 for December.
Nice. I think any month where you do more than one a day is a pretty successful month, right?
Well, yes.
Nice. Very nice.
And we've had a lot of long-term adults that have gotten adopted, which we're always happy for. We like the kittens, but it's the adults who really need the new home and acceptance.
All right, Joanne. Well, again, everyone check out pausehs.org and find out more about what's available at Pause right now. We do have a big number of the week, our final competition of the season here, of the year. Our current race to 10 has
now. We will no longer be playing.
Well, that's a good question. Should we keep playing in the new year? I'm up for it. I know we talked with Tom about this. We'll see about adding the trivia wrinkle into the new show, and either maybe Tom can make that a competition between you and me, Joanne.
Well, there you go.
Throw down the competition. That
we'll do 5 questions.
Oh, please don't do 5. Please only do 3.
A tiebreaker. 3 and a tiebreaker.
Yeah. One and two, and then if necessary, a third.
If he'll ask sports question, I'll pass.
It's very generic sports questions, maybe multiple choice. I don't know.
Okay,
Let's
this
do this.
sports question is about Tid.
A big number. We have, see, that was generic enough. We can keep using that. That we can keep using all through into the new show. Big number of the week this week is 91 million. That's a big number, 91 million. The answer this week is Casa Bonita or Crashes.
Or Beautiful House.
Casa Bonita.
Bonita means beautiful.
Or Crashes.
It does, yeah. Casa is house, so Beautiful House.
Tom has given me his answer. Let me make sure I still have it here. Okay, Tom's given me his answer. All right, so Joanne, what is yours? 3, 2, 1, go.
Crashes.
Crashes. Ooh, that means both of you have picked different answers this time.
It makes it exciting.
One of you's getting a point. The uber wealthy people, obviously, they can make their very odd, specific dreams come true. And the creators of South Park, do you know who they are, Tom?
Yeah, Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
There you go. Yeah, I knew you would know that. They spent recently over $40 million reviving their favorite childhood restaurant. The restaurant was called Casa Bonita. And it's, if you look it up, it's one of these places that apparently the food was bad, but the ambiance was just so cool. Kids loved it. And they wanted to bring it back. They even have a guy inside that jumps off a high platform into a pool of water, like one of those high dive things inside the restaurant. And back in the day, the person that would jump off the high dive into the pool would then leave the pool through a tunnel and end up they just disappeared.
Oh,
so they'd splash into this pool, swim through a tunnel that apparently you really couldn't see, and ended up in a room that was the electrical room. Very unsafe. Very, very unsafe. Right? They've redone all that at the new Casa Bonita, so it's safer now.
And where is this place located?
I think it's in Colorado.
Okay. Do you know, I know but my kids who grew up in Rockford loved The Last Straw.
I've heard about this place.
Oh, yes.
It was near Colonial Village. And was it close?
It's where Villa de Roma is now. It's across from Alpine Park, yes.
And it was, the kids loved that place. It was just a fun place to go for birthdays or whatever. So why don't we plan to recreate that?
From what I understand, it was a very similar place to Farrell's in Milwaukee. Where I grew up, where one of when you celebrated your birthday, they sounded a siren.
You had the huge ice cream.
Yes, the pig out ice cream trough thing.
Yeah.
If you could eat the whole thing, you didn't have to pay for it. And it was just 20 scoops of ice cream. There was nobody there.
Just a fun place to go. It's been closed I don't know when it closed.
Yeah, because I don't remember seeing it at all, and I've been around for 33 years.
Probably about that time, because then it became a grandma's restaurant. And then it was a few other things, and now it's been Villa de Roma for about 10 or 12 years.
Yes. So, congratulations, Joanne.
My kids are in their 40s, so
Joanne gets a point this week.
Yay, Joanne!
91 million has to do with a story about a 7-Eleven in Illinois. An Illinois man was struck by a car in front of a 7-Eleven store, and the court awarded him $91 million.
Wow.
Very strange case, made stranger when this very shocking stat popped up in court. 7-Eleven, I don't know if it was which side brought it up, but it was found out that about 6,300 drivers crashed into 7-Eleven storefronts over a 15-year period. That's about one every day. Nearly one a day, someone bumped into a 7-Eleven storefront across the country. And I'm guessing, I don't know, would the defense bring that up or the prosecution? I'm sure you could play either way on that one. And who's going to make the best point. But this Illinois guy got $91 million in his lawsuit. So, all right, Joanne's up 7-6 as we end 2023. And then again, as we begin 2024, we're launching a week from today, the INCROWD815 podcast. Our first guest will be Lisa Cohen. Appropriately, she does Birth to 5 Illinois as we give birth to a new podcast. Couldn't plan that one better, could I?
All right.
Any final thoughts as we end the year, my friends?
Other than Packer football coming up, we got to talk Packer football.
We can talk a little Packer football after we let Joanne go.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Well, and Joanne, of course, is always welcome to join us for Packer football. But
what was it? My grandson got a Kansas City Chiefs t-shirt or
a nice jersey.
Yeah, it was my mother's maiden name, so I was kind of thrilled that there was someone from my family playing football for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, nice. Well, Joanne, we've had a great year. I'm looking forward to continuing this next week and on into 2024. So you enjoy the rest of your day.
Do I get a new t-shirt?
We'll have to see if anybody wants to sponsor t-shirts for us now with the new logo.
Sponsor the headphones.
No, I do want to thank PC Tech to you for the mobile headphones. Those came in handy and will come in handy again, I'm sure. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe in the new year and when the new iteration of the podcast, maybe we'll get some actual sponsors involved. Wouldn't that be fun? We still have our unofficial sponsor, Ultra-Rise.
Krispy Kremes to sponsor us.
Bring it on, Krispy.
That'd be kind of nice.
We still have
Krispy.
Our unofficial sponsor, Ultra-Rise, the app that enables volunteers to track, verify, and maintain their own community service data for a lifetime. Ultra-Rise, tell a better story, live a better life. Get them in there before the end of the show.
That's right.
All right, Joanne.
Put your money where my mouth is.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Joanne.
Remember, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll do the same. And yes, we will meet you back here next year for another Saturday morning Stateline show. No, we won't. It'll be called the INCROWD815 podcast. That was muscle memory right there. That just came out.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Packers.
Are you ready for some football?
Do I have a rock and roll version of music for this? We've got switch it to hip hop. Maybe that'll work. See how this looks. All right. Our Green Bay Packers barely beat the worst team in football last week.
Oh, well, I'm not worried about it. A win's a win, baby. A win's a win.
Win's a win.
Because the worst team in football 6 or 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, whatever it was Denver. And I think we were the second victory for Denver. Mm-hmm. The Bears, oddly enough, had lost to them 2 weeks prior to that, or 3 weeks or whatever it was. So it's been an up and down season for the Packers.
Very up and down.
An up and down season. And so here's my take on it. They're actually favored to win. Yeah. They're minus 1.5, but they're on the road. The home team always gets 3 points. So if you're anything less than 3 points, you're actually favored to win the game, at least in the betting circles. Now, if Minnesota wins 24-23, then they don't cover the spread, and the odds makers are correct. Green Bay would have won based on point spread, but I'm not interested in that. I don't bet. I don't care. I'm interested in the actual W. That's what I want, the W. Because if the Packers win, they're now 8-8. Minnesota's 8-8. Green Bay will hold the tiebreaker based on a better division record. Chicago wins, they're 7-9. What Chicago will need is for Minnesota to lose. Chicago has to beat Green Bay. And then a whole bunch of other stuff has to happen over here. Atlanta has to lose, which Chicago can help their own cause by beating Atlanta tomorrow.
That's
I believe
the amazing
Seattle has
part of
to
this
lose.
whole scenario is that Chicago actually could squeak into the playoffs.
They could with an 8-9 record, because you would end up with about a 7 teams at 8-9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And Chicago could actually win it based on conference record. They would be 7-5. They'd have the best conference record. Unbelievable.
Never would have guessed. Here we are.
Sorry about that.
And the Packers need to win out, and they need a little bit of help. Oddly enough,
little
we're
bit of
actually
help,
rooting
yes.
for the Bears this week.
They have a far better chance. I'm not going to root for the Bears. I don't care. I don't care what they do tomorrow. I don't care.
We don't.
Well, I
we
don't,
need
because
to win.
I'm not worried about Atlanta.
No.
What's that?
We don't need the Bears to win if some other teams win, but it would help the Packers out to have the Bears win tomorrow, and then obviously for Green Bay to beat Chicago.
Well, the only thing we need is for Chicago to beat Atlanta. That helps our cause, because Atlanta beat us early on. If Green Bay wins that Atlanta game, they're, instead of 7-8, they're 8-7, looking to go 9-7 and then subsequently 10-7. They would have controlled their own destiny. They almost controlled their own destiny. They only need a couple things to happen. If they win out, they're 9-8. And here's playoffs or not, I don't care. If Green Bay goes 9-8, you can say Aaron Rodgers' first year 6-10 didn't make the playoffs. He had 11 interceptions. Right now, I believe Jordan Love has 10 touchdown passes. Jordan Love has 28 or 29, maybe even 30. He's real close to that. He's had a really
I've seen
good
that too. That Jordan Love's rookie, first year starter season, is better than any Chicago Bears starter in their history.
Wow.
Yards passed, touchdown passes. He was better than Jay Cutler ever did, than Harbaugh ever did, than McMahon ever did. Just purely by the numbers.
That's an amazing stat. I love it. Yeah, Jordan Love's the real deal, I believe. Time will tell. Give him another year, and we'll see what he does with a better defense. Now, how does the defense affect Jordan Love? Well, simple. The more your defense keeps somebody else, the more your defense keeps the opposing offense off the field, means your offense is on the field. So that helps a lot when Jokers have more chances at it, more checks at it. Does make a big difference. Plus, you keep getting down because your defense keeps giving up touchdowns. You have to go out there and score a touchdown. You can't just run the ball. You can't just eat clock. You have to actually play some football. And that's fine. I believe wholeheartedly in Matt LaFleur. He is one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I think he's very good. He's determined. He's fiery. He's a teacher. And I think you're seeing a good marriage between Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, whereas you didn't see a good marriage with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. And like I've said a few times, you got Aaron Rodgers in your left ear going, I don't like that play, coach. Can we do something else, coach? I'm not going to do that, coach. Sorry, coach.
And it's tough because he is a very cerebral guy. He's a very smart guy, but something doesn't click. I mean, he's I don't know what it is. It's some selfish thing in Aaron's head that he has to have his way, or he just like, I don't like.
A little bit of a prima donna. He read his own headlines. When he won the Super Bowl in 2010, he literally could have run for governor of Wisconsin and won the next day. He was the most popular guy in the NFL, the most popular guy in Wisconsin, probably the most popular guy in the United States. I mean, he was Aaron Rodgers, everybody. Little old Green Bay, 120,000 people, 108,000, whatever it is. Little old Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the most popular figure in maybe all of the United States, if not internationally. He was on top of the world. And then all of a sudden, things started to fall apart. They started losing critical games. And instead of looking inside and saying, what can I do better? All he did was he blamed Packers management. He blamed Mike McCarthy. And then Matt LaFleur comes along to a no-win situation, really. And it was always Aaron Rodgers pointing the finger. What happens when you point the finger? You get 3 pointing back at you.
Right back
you
at
know?
you.
So.
Okay, this is 17. So I was trying to find the graphic that showed week 17 who to root for guide here.
Oh yeah. And by the way, what is your prediction for tomorrow's game?
It's I flip-flopped on Joe Barry, and I know I fell for the stat that say, look, the Packers defense has allowed only under 18 points a game or under 16 points a game for like 5 games in a row or something like that. And what it turns out to be, and now my having better hindsight, it was the skill. It wasn't the scheme that got them there. Schemes is what lost them those critical games that they should be. They should be in the playoffs already. They should be a lock for one of the wild card spots.
Well, they had 8 losses, and 5 of those losses they should not have lost. And when I say should not have, they shouldn't have lost the Atlanta game. They were up 24-12 with about 6 minutes left, and they gave up a couple of crucial touchdowns and then the subsequent winning field goal. That's just no way they should have lost that game. The Denver game, how do you lose that one? The LA game, how do you lose that one? You give up crucial field goal. The Giants game, the Pittsburgh game. Those are your 5 right there. I'll give you the Minnesota game. I'll give you the Detroit game, and the Tampa Bay game. Those are 3 games that they simply got outplayed. Fine, I'll give you those 3.
This isn't the graphic I was looking for, but it'll work. From Packers Wire, from USA Today, the rooting guide for Week 17. We would like to see the Bears beat the Lions, the Colts over the Giants, the Browns beat the Commanders, and the Saints beat the Eagles. And all those things are possible, but a couple of them are unlikely.
Well, how does the Saints beating the Eagles help us?
I don't know.
It could be strength of schedule if it comes down to that.
Yeah.
Because we beat the Saints. But other than that, I couldn't care less about that game. It's Atlanta, it's the Seahawks, it's the Rams. We beat the Rams. We lost to Atlanta, so Atlanta has to lose, which means we pretty much have to root for the Bears tomorrow. I don't like to, but
a win over the Vikings on Sunday ensures Week 18 means something for the Packers.
That's absolutely.
The big one this weekend is the Commanders. If Washington loses, the Packers know they need nothing more than wins over the Vikings and Lions at home to finish the season. What?
No, they played the Bears for the last game.
This ain't right. This is last year's. I suck. All right, back up.
All right. I was going to say, what are you talking about?
That's not right at all.
Yeah, because the Commanders are 4-11 right now.
See if I can find the updated version of that. That stinks. I don't know where that went. I just don't know where.
Anyway, all I know is we have to beat Minnesota. My prediction: 31-21. 31-21 Green Bay.
All right, I found the updated one, and this actually comes from Acme Packing Company.
I love it.
So this should be fun. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Rooting guide for the Packers, Week 17. The Packers could use a Bears win, along with some help from other NFC teams that would improve the Packers' playoff position. 4 teams have clinched. The Niners, the Eagles, the Lions, and Cowboys. They're all in one way or the other. Eliminated are the Panthers, Cardinals, Commanders, and Giants. Already eliminated.
Yep.
So, what do we want here? Playoff probability leverage 59%. Packers at Vikings. Rams at Giants. We want the Giants to somehow beat the Rams.
Yeah, it's Rams at Giants, so it's, the
Could
Tommy
happen.
DeVito thing is done. I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know who their backup is. Is that Taylor Heineke? No, he's Atlanta.
Tyrod
Taylor
Taylor.
Heineke is Atlanta, so
I think it's Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor is New York. You're right.
Steelers at Seahawks. You are, rooting for the Steelers to beat the Seahawks.
Yep. It's a rematch of a former Super Bowl.
Falcons and Bears. We're actually rooting for the Bears this week. And the Saints Buccaneers. We're hoping the Buccaneers will beat the Saints. To some, this may seem counterintuitive. I never like rooting for the Bears, especially when they're just one game behind the Packers. But when they're playing the Falcons, a team that has the same record as Green Bay, and Atlanta holds the head-to-head win.
Right.
So we need them to lose to the Bears.
Can you find out who Atlanta plays the last game of the season?
Who does Atlanta play last game?
Who do the Falcons play last game of the season?
The Vikings defense is thriving under Brian Flores. Unpredictable play calling. That's going to be the challenge for the Packers tomorrow as they take on.
Okay, they're at New Orleans. Atlanta is at Chicago and at New Orleans.
Wow. So
Uh-huh.
they're Atlanta and New Orleans, they're both hoping the Packers lose to the Vikings, and then their game means something next week big time, because that would kind of, the winner of that game probably gets in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta admit, this has turned into a fun season simply because
It has.
I wasn't expecting them to have playoff aspirations, and they do.
But let me put it to you this way. You've got the Rams, Seahawks, Bears, Packers, Vikings, Atlanta, New Orleans. There may be one other one in there. Of those seven, just those 7 teams, who do you think fundamentally is the better coached and better team, actual team? And 2 of them make the playoffs as a wild card. Actually, 3 of them do. So let's take out the Rams. I think the Rams are the better coached of all. I think they've got a better quarterback. They've got a better receiving core. The Rams probably are in. Seattle is pretty good as well. I don't mind if Seattle is the second wild card team. So of those 5 remaining, Atlanta, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, and New Orleans. Those are your 5 right there. I think Green Bay is the better coach team, and I think Green Bay has the better talent. Now, defensively, the Bears are better than the Packers defensively right now. No question about it. No question. But I really do believe that you said it a little while ago. It's talent over scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe talent wins out. And I think the Packers have better talent. Clearly, the Bears better scheme. They may be even. I don't know. But I think the Packers are better coached overall, not defensively, but coached overall. And I really believe you're going to see Matt LaFleur force his will with the Packers. I do. I do. Hey, look, Joe, the plays are calling. So personal.
No more playing 15 yards off the line of scrimmage when it's 3rd and 7.
Anyway, I've been fighting this kind of thing. Yeah, no, I understand. I completely understand. It's a bad scheme. Something different with the Packers defense. They're playing for playoffs. Now, here's the thing that I really like. That Green Bay could go 9-8 and do what Aaron Rodgers could do last year with what I think might have been a better Packer team last year. But the problem is when you got a distraction like Aaron Rodgers, it takes away from the on-air. It takes away from the on-field play. And I think Aaron Rodgers was enough of a prima donna that he was, I think a lot were very, very upset with Aaron Rodgers last year. Very upset. Yeah, here you go. I'm to it. I should have won it. But anyway, look my Packer football and my little Packer guy. Where'd he go? Here he is.
Gotta like Packer football.
There we go. my little mascot.
There you go.
Gotta love Packer football. So anyway, what I'm saying is that you have a very determined Packer team, and if they go 9-8, you can say Jordan Love's first year was better by far. It's already better than Aaron Rodgers' first year. His stats are going to be better than Aaron Rodgers' first year. Am I putting Jordan Love in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely not.
Not yet.
What's
no,
that?
But it floors me the stats that Jordan has been able to put up with a bunch of first and second year receivers and tight ends. Unreal.
Yes, that is because he's got a guy that can coach him, and he's very coachable. The guy is very smart, very smart. That's why they drafted him. They knew he was a smart kid, and I've seen him. He goes and looks at the defense like this. He's moving guys around. He's doing this, doing that. All these.
I don't know.
Whenever he audibilizes,
have we seen him get rattled?
What's
he
that?
Hasn't gotten rattled. He's great under pressure.
He really is. Now, here's the other stat that'll get you. I saw this, I don't know, maybe week 7, week 8. For a while there, he was only having like 2.4 seconds before everything was barreling down on him. That's where the bulk of his interceptions came. In a 3 or 4 game stretch, he threw about 8 interceptions. 2 in one game, 3 in another one, 2 in one game. He threw like 8 interceptions. I think he only has 10 this year.
I think.
In fact,
it's only 10.
I'm gonna look it up. Jordan Love's QB stats this year.
It's pretty remarkable.
Okay. He's 27-11, 27 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns.
11 picks. That's it.
He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games without a pick. And he's had 1 game with 3 and 2 games with 2 and a few games with 1. It's pretty good.
And
that's a pretty good.
Those stats, when you look at the games where, especially those few games where they lost that they should have won, he threw some passes that were just not even close. And you got to kind of wonder, was that on the receiver, the young receiver not running quite the right route? Because they're still figuring each other out. What is a receiver going to do when he sees the opening? Is he going to take the opening, or is he going to stick to the route on the plan? And that was one of the things that usually Aaron Rodgers had in tune with Randall Cobb and Devontae Adams.
Yes, he did.
Those guys,
yes, he did.
He could trust them to hit the opening rather than just run the route that they originally, planned to run. That's going to come with these young guys, especially next year, as they get to know what Jordan Love sees and what they've learned he's going to expect them to do. I'm really excited about next season, and yet they can still make the playoffs this year. It's wild.
Now, I'm going to give you one more reason why Jordan Love is better for this Packer team than Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying Jordan Love's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, but mentally, emotionally, and all of that, and now physically, because Aaron Rodgers is 39 and injured, he's 40 now. He is now 40. Yeah. He's going to come back with, nursing an ACL injury, whatever. When Jordan Love throws an interception, when something goes his way, he walks off the field, takes his helmet off. He doesn't slam it. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's very cool under pressure. When Aaron Rodgers, and I have to back this up so you can see, when Aaron Rodgers throws an interception, he's like very animated. Sorry for that, folks. Very enough coffee yet, apparently, in my Pecker mug. Anyway, and it's like pointing fingers. You. How about me? What did I do wrong? And this is why the Packers have suffered in the last 6 years. I'm not saying playing Jordan Love 3 as a rookie 4 years ago now, as a rookie, and saying bye-bye to Aaron Rodgers would have been a good idea. There would have been some growing, and maybe after 2 years, Jordan Love, getting his feet wet, didn't learn under the master Aaron Rodgers, because a lot of it does go to Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love's success, because Jordan's able to watch the master do it. But guess what?
The relationship between Rodgers and Love was
able to watch
Brett Marvin Rodgers.
Favre, the other master, do it for 3 years. What Aaron Rodgers did is he molded that clay, better version of. Oh, yeah. Favre didn't like Rodgers at all. And he said, he's not my blanking responsibility. No. Why do I have to teach him anything?
Right. Last thing before we go.
So
the one big wrinkle in this game that might come back to haunt them, but I still think that was the right decision, suspending Jair Alexander for a game after what he did in Carolina. You got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think he just had a bout with stupidity. I don't see him. Yeah, well, he was dumb for what he did. He just goes out there as a, self-appointed captain. Oh, yeah, we want to defend. What? No, understand how it works. We're going to defer. That could have been disastrous had that ref not said, Coach, I don't think he knows what he's doing here.
Was he captain?
I understand the suspension, but not in week 16. Not the 6th game of the season when you need him most. Who's going to cover
Somewhere
Jordan?
It was overlooked.
Justin Jefferson.
Is
that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Jair's from Carolina, and he thought he should have been a captain and whatever, but he's been out injured for 6-7 weeks. So for him not to be a captain wasn't out of the ordinary in that situation. So for him to just appoint himself to go out there and do what he did was not cool, could not be tolerated, and suspending him for a game, I think was appropriate. So I still think they're going to be okay if the schemes cover Jefferson the way they need to, and I don't have confidence in it, but we'll see what happens. All right, dude. Any last? I know you asked me for my prediction. I
hearing you, buddy.
I want to get
prediction.
I know. Delay. Prediction time. I'm gonna say the Packers win the game. I can't find a score in my head, so I'm gonna pull out something weird like a 26-21. I'm gonna pull out. There you go. 26-21. Packers pull it out. I don't know. Your prediction?
I don't care if they win 3-2. All I want is a W.
I agree. All right.
31.
For the last time, let's put up the Saturday Morning Stateline Show logo, because this one is getting retired, kids. This one is getting retired. It's been a joy. It's been fun. Thanks to WROK for the opportunity to start this thing 10 and a half years ago, almost. And we're going to take this now into the future. And the INCROWD815 podcast launches a week from today. So, buddy, I'm sure we'll be texting each other during the game tomorrow night. Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2024.
Yep.
Bye, y'all. Bye-bye.
You said right? Bye-bye.